Hello, Scotsiatic, buenos dias, good morning. So this is a general reading. This morning, there's some runners that are praying for Mo'atoag, which is commonly known as South Mountain in the Phoenix metro area. Right now, there's a freeway that's being built through it. If you want more information, you can look up No South Mountain Freeway or No Loop 202, and I might put some more info in the description. But so Mo'atoag is the Sacred Mountains were a creation story for the O'odham people was said to be held. But so I'll go ahead and start with the reading. So I'm using bird cards, which are oracle bird cards, and the first card that came up was Oriole card. The second card was Wigtail. The other card was Sparrow. The fourth card was Raven. The fifth card was Tracker. And this card is from the Oracle deck Native Spirit by Denise Lynn, who's half Cherokee. And then this card is by, I forget who it's by, but it's called Medicine or Animal Medicine cards. And that's the first. Next card was Armadillo, Frog, Hawk, and then Spirit Keeper of the South. So the first card that came up was Oriole, and this immediately reminded me of our O'odham people and our runners who are praying. I actually just recently went to a lecture on O'odham dance and song culture, and Barnaby Lewis, who's the cultural coordinator of the Gila River Indian community, he mentioned that the songs would come to singers in dreams, and the songs would be brought by different birds, and one of those birds is the Oriole, and he mentioned that that the singer would keep the song until the Oriole stopped coming to him and visiting him, and then once the Oriole or spirits would stop visiting him, then that song would be the people song, and he would sing it and teach it to other people. And I thought that was just beautiful. O'odham people happen to be sun worshippers, so the sun is called Dash, which is beautiful. But in this particular book, it also mentions that Oriole comes to you when you're weary and tired and you need to keep going. It gives you energy and inspires you to keep going forward, which I think is appropriate for definitely the runners who are running and praying for the mountain. And of course, if you're going through a hard time in your life, definitely ask the energy of the Oriole, or even of the sun. You can stand outside, receive sunshine, and have it just energize and feel your solar plexus, which is just below your sternum. That's where your willpower is, your forward motion, your energy, your desire, your power is located centrally. And then Wigtail, basically it's a card that, I guess the Wigtail is just a silly card where while it's drinking or eating, it's wiggling its tail back and forth and being silly, like you're dancing or just being a silly goosey person, and allowing that energy to just flow through you. And then there's the sparrow, which the sparrow comes to you when you're kind of feeling lonely or out of sorts and you're feeling disconnected. It gives you companionship, according to the book. And then the raven is a messenger. And in the book it says it's not always an omen or a bad thing, but it's going to give you a message of, transformation. And it also mentioned in the book that you're always a child of God, and you're loved. You're always loved. And it also mentioned that it lifts the veil between ourselves and God in the spirit world. And so I'll get to this too. So Tracker asks us to keep focus. So when we're kind of down and out and depressed, or we're going through some struggles, it tells us to keep focus on positive things, the good things in our lives. So, what gives us joy, what makes us happy, what, can really bring us happiness. If we're depressed, look at the things that are good in your life, even if it's just one thing. And then armadillo represents boundaries. So maybe it's, boundaries. Maybe it's, telling someone to leave you alone. Maybe someone keeps, being verbally abusive or physically abusive. Do what you need to do to make yourself happy, whether it's, leaving a situation that's not good for you, or just telling whoever is verbally abusing you or abusing you just to shut up. Shut up, leave me alone. Or, maybe just even ignoring them. Frog is representative of water energy. And I mentioned like clearing, cleansing yourself with tears. So maybe you need to, take your boundaries, tell that person to leave you alone, have a good cry, and kind of wash your way. Just kind of, with this, it's got, water. Water is so powerful. Clearing out some of the emotions that you've held that are negative, and again focusing on the positive and letting it, drinking water, when you take a glass of water, have it ask the water to not only hydrate you but wash away any negativity from you. And then hawk is another messenger bird. And in the book, it tells you to pay attention to everything in your environment. God is always talking to you, whether it's through nature, or even through the television or Facebook memes or anything, or even a person. Sometimes I overhear conversations that are relevant to me if I'm out and about doing something, or, something in the news touches you, God and Creator, they're always sending you messages. You just have to pay attention. And then Spirit Keeper of the South, in the book, it mentions that it represents the noon sun, the full moon, and abundance. So overall thing, so the overall theme of it is just kind of listening to your spirit, helping yourself clear away anything that makes you unhappy. It could be simple as tidying up your room, getting rid of some things that you don't need, washing the dishes, dusting, telling someone, to leave you alone if they're abusive, there's, regarding the dog, for me, it's just, there's a lot of energy there that's both sad and angry and a lot of emotion and anger. And part of me is, the mountain, is where, the Altan people were created, or I haven't heard the whole entire mountain, so I'm not sure what the story is, so I'm not going to go into that, but it has to do with the creation of our people in the world, and, there's a lot of disconnect, I know, within the Altan community, with drugs and alcohol and sexual abuse. I know that, the GRC government, they have this, they're in the Metagon, the colonial, unbalanced patriarchal system right now, where they have to worry about budgets and logistics and figuring out how to take care of the people. And I know that, we get a lot of money from the casino. And I know that, the freeway is easier access to the Vicuiva area and also to, the Wild Horse Pass area. But, it feels like, a lot of people in the government, of course this can be representative in all the governments everywhere, that they're disconnected from God, and not completely, but, from God and the earth and from nature. And being disconnected, we're not, they want to think that we're separate from the earth, that, Moat Dog, being blown apart is not going to affect people. There's the spiritual portion, we all have electromagnetic energy flowing through us. The earth has that. And I'm a sensitive person. I can feel that. And I know probably other people will be able to do that. And that's just the energetic and spiritual results of the mountain being blown apart. The Altan people's boundaries are being violated for spiritual freedom and disrespect. There's a part of me who's angry of the elders and the GRC government who, why didn't they fight harder or better, or even now. And, even Ada, I'm angry at, like, why couldn't they just do it, on Baseline Road, where, at the time, way back in the 30s or 30 years ago, whatever, it was mostly farmland. Would have been easier just to put it there. Anyway, but, I can be angry, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I personally had to do some healing with my own parents, with their imbalances in their lives, you know, that affected me and my brothers. You know, it wasn't the perfect family. I know underneath there was always love, but it definitely wasn't perfect. And I had to go back into my family history, you know, ask some questions and, you know, kind of remember the different conversations that I've had to listen to kind of really, okay, you know, they had to go through my parents did the best that they could with what they learned from their parents, my grandparents, and my grandparents' lives weren't easy either. So, and you know, the only thing we can do right now is focus on the future. You know, by crying, by listening to what our emotions are. You know, keeping focus. You know, listening to our environment. I know there's going to be a fight. Not a fight, because I don't want there to be a fight. That there's going to be people who are going to be setting boundaries that, you know, blasting through the hook is wrong. Even though I know there's a lot of people within the community, and I know a lot of Medagon really want the freeway. So I don't know what's going to happen. You know, through our trying times, there's always a lesson to be learned. You know, if it doesn't kill us, we always come out stronger from it. And we have to focus on the positive. You know, and I see a lot of people doing good work within the community, you know, with traditional foods, fitness, just speaking up and, you know, saying no, you know, this is not right, you know, and bringing, making aware the culture, you know, our culture, bringing it back, bringing more awareness to our culture, to the people, strengthening us that way. And I don't know what's going to happen with Lot Dog. I know it's in appeals court right now, the Ninth Circuit. Either way, it's, you know, like I said, what doesn't kill us will make us stronger. You know, focusing on taking care of our community. I remember, I think it was Missy who said this, when you take care of your family and then your community, you take care of yourself. So, you know, there's those positive things. So yeah, there's a lot of messages in here, so it's just like, you know, I know my boyfriend, he recently asked me, how did you get out of depression? Because he was trying to help a friend who was in a bad situation. And honestly, it was just being connected to someone. Like my best friend at the time, you know, she came around. It was like right after high school. And I was just like, I don't even know. I was just depressed and I was fearful about what was going on in my life and scared. And she, you know, kept, you know, calling me and just being there, just not even asking me what was wrong, but just because I didn't tell her, because at the time, I didn't tell people about my feelings or at all. So, but yeah, just being connected, you know, to someone, you know, to uplift your spirit, and just being a friend, just like even just listening, just being a listener to someone, that's good. And just knowing that, the illusion of separateness is an illusion. And that we're all connected, even for those who are angry at the Metagon, the non-Indigenous people, they're here, and I think we have to do some deep down forgiveness, of course, set our boundaries. I feel like as Autumn people, we just have to continue listening to our messages from Creator, listening to, the wisdom of our Hamadak, our culture, and just continuing to focus on that, and bring more of the goodness into the community. And of course, with people who are not Autumn or not Indigenous, what's in your environment that you can help take care of. It can just be within yourself, eating better, being nicer to somebody, not being, so mean, being kinder, speaking kinder words to someone. Maybe trying, if you're if you're living in America, maybe picking up a book and doing some research on the, Indigenous community that you're in. Learn about the people who originated from where you're at. I like the word indigenize. You don't necessarily have to put the spiritual component into it, but, you can learn from nature and how it works, and we can live with it. When we listen to nature, listen to God, we can really be prosperous. Mother Earth will provide for us no matter what. There's food, there's plants, there's some animals that'll, sacrifice themselves for us to be nourished. But yeah, I know this is a long reading, but that's what came through this morning. But I want to send you all lots of love. Know that we're all related. We're all connected to God and to each other. So I just want to send you lots of love. Thank you so much.